Hello everyone, my name is James Ryan, and I'm here to teach you the basics of how to code, as well as later on in the series, a bit of intermediate code as well. Specifically, we're going to be using to help you learn how to code, I'm going to be using the processing IDE. We're going to be using the processing IDE, and we're going to be using the language called processing, which is based off of Java heavily. And we're going to be making an abstract visualizer. So you know those cool visualization things you see when you got a screensaver or when your music's playing? We're going to be making one of those, eh? Although it probably won't respond to music. But small steps first. First things first, we got to start with the basics of code. Now the first thing you need to do when you start up a new file, text file or source code file or whatever you're using, is set up your format, the way your file is going to be formatted around. Now there are some programs where you don't have to do anything like this. You just start coding. But in a few programs, depending on how you code and what you're using, it'll be different. Sometimes you might have to use classes. Sometimes you just might have to define a few different functions that are necessary. But there are a few things you might have to do. In any case, the way you do it in processing is like such. You don't have to worry about what I'm doing right now and what it means. You just need to follow along with me. Type in void setup left bracket, right bracket, left curly bracket. You're going to be getting quite used to those keys. Space, right curly bracket, double space, void draw, left bracket, right bracket, left curly bracket, space, right curly bracket. Now, you don't need to know what it is that we've done here, all of it. You don't need to know why we've done it, but I will explain later. It will all make sense. It will all become very clear to you all of a sudden. But what you do need to know is what these things do. This first thing, these are both functions, and the first thing we've got here is the setup function, and the second function is the draw function. Now, whatever you put inside the setup function will be executed, called, done, ran through, essentially read by your computer and then acted upon as soon as the program loads. The first thing it does is call setup. Then, after setup is done, it will then look towards the draw function, and it will execute whatever is in the draw function. However, once it has executed what is in the draw function, it will loop. It will continue. It will start again from the top of the draw function and continue. And again, and again, and again. And how fast it does this is... well, I'm not really sure. I think it does it as fast as possible, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure how it works in processing compared to Arduino, but I'm pretty sure that in Arduino at least it does it as fast as possible. In any case, it loops. That's what you need to know. So, let's write our first program, okay? Now, our first program is going to be really simple. Now, if you don't know, there's a tradition in programming. The first test program you ever do in a new language, the first one just to test the waters and say, you know what? This is a new language, a new tool in my arsenal, a new thing I can use. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to say hello to this new world. In other words, you say hello world, and you do that by figuring out whatever function it is that this program or programming language uses to output to a console. And a console is just basically in this program it's this little text area down the bottom. But basically a console is just an area where the program spits out little outputs of data and shows you stuff that you might want to know if you're developing. So first simple program, we're going to write print and we're going to write in quotes, hello world. We're going to put a right bracket and we're going to put a semicolon. Let's take a look at this code very carefully. What's going on here? Well, first of all, what is this print thing? Well, this print is a function. It calls a function that is already being defined. We're not talking entirely about functions right now, about how to make your own, but I will tell you about how to use already built-in ones. To use an already built-in function, it's simple. You write the function name, then you put a left bracket and a right bracket, okay? Now, what did we put inside this print function? We put hello world. So then you put inside of the function name, you put in any extra information you need to get that function to work. And this extra information these extra pieces of information are called arguments. You may have one, you may have more than one. You may have none. If you have no arguments, then you have to leave this blank. Okay? So in my case, I'm telling the program to run the print function, and that means print data to the screen. But then it says, well, what do you want me to print to the screen? So I give it this argument, and this argument is the hello world argument, which basically says, I want you to print hello world to the screen. Now, the reason hello world is in quotes is because it's a string. If you don't know what a string is, and I probably said string quite a bit of times just now before I even explained to you that I'm not going to tell you what a string is yet. I'm not going to tell you what a string is yet. You don't need to know, but what you do need to know is that for the moment, if you're trying to print something or you're trying to write text, probably best to enclose it in these strings. I will talk about strings another time. Now, last part is the semicolon. What is the semicolon? Well, semicolon basically tells the computer as it reads this, the compiler. The compiler is the program that reads through your source code and turns it into the ones and zeros a computer can understand. The compiler, when it looks through your code, it sees the semicolon, and the semicolon is basically like a full stop for coding. It's basically the end of a sentence, okay? It's basically the end of the sentence. The semicolon says, okay, look, it's the end of the line here. We've done all we needed to do. We've called a function, or we've assigned a variable, or something else. Now it's time to move on and go to the next line, okay? So that's basically what the semicolon does. And every single line you write is called, that's with a new semicolon at the end, is called a statement. So this print hello world, that is a statement. And it ends with a semicolon. Now, enough blabber, enough talk. Let's see if our hello world program actually does anything. The next step is to press run. This big play button here, press run. Two things will happen. This thing here will pop up. Now you don't need to worry about that. There is a reason that's there. The reason that's there is because processing automatically creates a window for which your programs, if they have a GUI, run in. Unfortunately, if we don't, use that window, it's still going to pop up. There might be a way to disable that though. But another more important thing is that if you look down here, it says hello world. You know what that means? That means you did it. You've just had your first foray into programming. This is the simplest of things. It can get as complex or as easy from here as you. It doesn't get any easier than this, but it doesn't have to get that much more complex either. Just follow along with me, and I'll take you through, and everything will be just fine. So, thank you for watching. My name is James Ryan, and I have been your host. Peace out.